Welcome! Hey everybody, I'm Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Michael Eriksson.
Today we're taking a look at the conclusion of the 60-day promise.
Indeed.
Indeed-o. Let's go back in time and let's reimagine the time when this commitment was made. What happened, what led into it?
We could see in the period following launch that we did have some weapons that were overrepresented. So players were playing with specific weapons more than others. And what we ended up doing in some of the cases was that we nerfed these weapons to make the weapons, like, to balance them a bit more.
And bring them into line with the rest of the loadouts.
Exactly. And in hindsight, that was maybe not the smartest thing that we could have done, because what often ended up happening was that we took weapons that players loved and we made them more boring, right? We had to take a step back and we had to look at what we were doing and what decisions we were taking. So that's why we made the 60-day commitment. So the 60-day commitment was our way of saying that, okay, we hear you, we also feel it, we also see it, we want to address the biggest issues that we have in the game right now, and we want to get back on track to make sure that we deliver on the core promise of Helldivers. That was the commitment, but we're a live service game, so we will keep updating the game for a long time, and we'll keep building on the game. And hopefully now that we have more of our ducks in a row, we can do that while also staying true to what made Helldivers 2 great in the first place, right? Staying true to our core vision. The Game Master has specific chess pieces that Game Master can use to influence what happens in the Galactic War. And then also the players have chess pieces and they have things that they can do to influence the Galactic War. And we intend to add more and more chess pieces to the community in this way. So for example, the DSS, the Democracy Space Station, is one of those chess pieces. The community votes on where to place it, and they also vote on what actions it should do, and they build continue to expand on the actions that the DSS can do. By spending currency. So they build on it together and they vote on it together and they use it together as an entity.
Yeah, and this will cause no arguments online whatsoever, right?
The intent is that it will never cause arguments and that everyone will always be in full agreement, as they should be.
As in all democracies.
As in all democracies.
Or at least in the Super Earth democracy.
We do want to expand on progression in many different ways for players. So we do want players to have many more things that they can spend their time on, and more types of currencies to get new types of rewards. And we just want to make it more meaningful when you're on this journey to become a legend in the galaxy.
What's our thoughts? What's our plans on being able to communicate with the community?
Yeah, so what
you guys?
What we've seen. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
I like it. So what we've seen is that we want to talk more to you guys. By the way, we read a lot of what you guys are saying, just so you know, sometimes at very late hours. And we also want to do more frequent updates in blogs. We wanted to start to do streams and more stuff like that. So there's several different initiatives. Also, we're doing betas now. They're closed betas where we can test things and we can get input from some select players. Increase the flow of information from us to you and from you to us in the best ways we can.
Thank you, Micke. I'm going to bring in the next guest now.
All right.
But any final words for the community?
Yes. Thank you to Piran, and thanks to everyone on the other side of that camera. Your support and all the encouragement that we've gotten after the release of the last patch really made us all so very happy here at the studio. So on behalf of the entire studio, thank you for sticking with us and believing in us. And we really hope, and I really hope, that you will like what else we have cooked for you guys now in the last 20 or 30 so days, and that you are looking forward to everything else that's going to come your way very soon. Have a lovely rest of the day. See you guys.
Hey everybody, we're back, and today we're going to talk about the conclusion to our 60-day promise. I'm Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Malmborg.
Let's dive into the patch notes. So Niklas, tell me, what have we done for the conclusion of the 60-day update?
Well, it contains some weapons that were forgotten before, or not forgotten. We needed time, and we took our time. We did it right. We also just like looked at everyone when they played the previous patch, and just like all the feedback. We read so many posts and watched so many videos.
So many.
And you guys sent in a lot of feedback. So we looked at all of that, plus the stuff that we didn't get done in time. And then just like, we know what to do. We know what's up.
So let's talk about the general balancing. I know that there's been some needed quality of life fixes. The Helldiver armor has been tweaked based on the new damages. And we've made some UI updates as well.
Yep. We can take the UI updates first. When you play the game, you wonder where the hell is the supply pod. Where is that? We marked it on the map. If you have also, I think, several at the same place, they kind of stack together into one, so we don't clutter everything. Same thing, like where did you park your exosuit? Well, you can see it on the map.
So, dude, where's my exosuit?
Yes.
Awesome.
Don't have to ask that question anymore.
Tagging location.
So let's talk a little bit about the Helldiver armor. So we made it more or less?
More armor. No. More armor. Yeah, we looked at kind of like with the damage you're taking now and how much damage enemies do. We feel that the choices was sometimes too punishing or not rewarding enough. The heavy armor was not. We gave it more, so you get. It used to be like 20% damage reduction. Now it's 25, and the light armor used to increase the damage taken by 33%. Now it increases by 25. So the light armor is a little bit less punishing, and the heavy armor is a bit more rewarding.
Okay, so it's and for simplicity, it's like 25% more or 25% less in comparison to the base armor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's nice.
Right.
Okay, let's jump into some of the weapons. Firstly, we have plasma weapons in general.
The projectiles and the logic that dictates like what is plasma is more unified now. Is more of a projectile that travels fast through the air and then drops off speed fast.
And for those of you that are a little bit technical, the drag coefficient of the plasma has gone up.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a purifier.
The purifier becomes more of a Swiss Army knife utility plasma because you can choose kind of how you want to use it. You can charge it up and get a really big boom, or you could just click and it basically shoots like the Scorcher. Or you could charge it up like halfway and it gets stronger the longer you charge it.
Okay.
You need to charge it max though to get the big explosion.
Okay, so it becomes more versatile. I will be able to deal with enemies up close with using the regular single fire.
Yeah.
But in that case, it encroaches a little bit on the Scorcher. So what did we do to the Scorcher to make up for that?
Ah, yes. The Scorcher, now you can change your fire mode and it actually has automatic fire. And it has an increased fire rate up to now 350. You burn through your magazine pretty fast now if you go into full auto. So we give it a bigger magazine. So you have 20 shots. It still goes through those shots pretty fast, but you have great burst fire potential.
Okay, that's amazing.
And then we have the Punisher Plasma.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
tell me all about it.
Yeah, I will. So we reduce some recoil and increase some fire rate, but it's generally in the same space it was before, but it will act a little bit differently. It's a faster projectile that then drops off fast, also much faster. Before it did like the arc, and now it's closer to a straight line and then drops off very quickly.
Right.
Which is nicer to use in a short range environment. Maybe like it's slightly harder to like lob over stuff, but it's nicer to use when you just have close encounters.
Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit about the various types of assault rifles, liberators, educators, tenderizers, and so forth.
Yeah, all those names, right?
Yeah.
We can start with the penetrator. It was annoying with small magazine. You had to reload very often. That's usually when you die. And we took it up to 45 bullets per magazine.
Right, and then I assume the same sort of mentality that we had before of whenever we give bigger magazines, we remove some of the magazines.
Yeah, you still have to like look at the total amount of ammo you're carrying around. I think in total you actually go up in ammo. I think there's more, but it's nicer not to reload quite as often. And then we have our dear friend the Adjudicator. It was lagging behind a little bit. It's still like a lot of people like the weapon. It is very nice. We upped the damage a little bit to 90, some durable damage, and slightly larger magazine. So it went up to 30 shots. We took up the Tenderizer last time to 35, and then like I felt like the difference there was too big. The Tenderizer can now vary its fire rate up to 850, which for those who know.
So the Tenderizer, it has gotten the same functionality as the machine guns, where you can change the rate of fire.
Yeah.
That was a very important. Like we discussed the Tenderizer at great lengths. Like why did it have 600 RPM when it should have had 850?
Yeah. So now you can at least make that choice and live the dream you always wanted.
Across the board, all of the assault rifles have become a little bit easier to control as well.
I think for most of them at least. We reduced the horizontal recoil a little bit. Like we want to keep the recoil going up. It's easier to compensate for, but the horizontal recoil sometimes it made it cumbersome to use sometimes.
Let's talk about the biggest change of all the primer weapons. It's the Dominator. I love the Dominator. Tell me, what has happened to the Dominator?
Why was it in the explosive category? It's not anymore.
So now in the UI I can find it under special weapons.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. Fix the game.
Yeah.
Then and there.
It was basically unplayable before.
Yeah, I don't know. Like.
Anyway, okay.
So okay, let's go sidearms, right?
Yep. Let's look at the sidearms.
Yeah.
You guys commented online saying like the stim pistol, it's hard to hit, and there's some shenanigans going on with it where you aim at your friend, you shoot, but you don't hit. What's going on?
For some reason, it had a lot of spread.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly why we did that, but we fixed it. So it went from we cut it down to like 15% of spread. So you'll hit what you're actually trying to hit.
But also, one of the things that we realized is that it basically had a muzzle velocity of a soft air gun.
Now it's 200 meters per second, up from 80. It does actually matter for you to, especially if your friends are moving and you're trying to hit them.
I need stems!
Okay, let's talk about the big boys in the sidearm category, the Verdict and the Senator.
The Verdict, it is a big boy. So it has AP3. It went up to medium armor penetration, and it went up it did a bit more stagger and durable damage, but then it was like, and now it's not kind of in the space of the Senator. And the Senator is a bigger boy. So let's just take it up to armor penetration 4, like an autocannon.
So I can headshot chargers.
Yeah. And we also gave it more damage, and like double the durable damage. So it's a big iron on your hip.
The grenades, high explosive, frag, and incendiary, had sort of fallen behind the curve.
Yeah, they weren't used that much. So we just said like, all right, if we basically double the damage on most of the non-impact grenades,
yeah,
maybe you're lucky. Maybe, yeah, that'll do it. If you have an expectation of what an explosion, depending on how big it is and like how big of the charge is in it, so like what should that do? If it differs too much, it becomes sort of like a gamey balance thing instead of just like explosions being very satisfying.
Yeah,
and that's the whole point of explosions is satisfaction.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the military invented explosion. So let's talk about one of my favorite throwables, the throwing knives.
If you can throw more of them, you have more fun. So we just gave you more.
So tell me, Niklas, how many more?
12 more, so you have 20.
Okay, it's an increase by an unfathomable amount of percent.
We can't math that high.
No, exactly. Math doesn't go that high.
No, only knives does.
Yeah. Okay, so and that means that I'll have more knives than I have in my cupboard at home.
Yeah, we need to talk about that though. Like we need to update your kitchen.
I need more knives, is what you're saying. Let's talk about the autocannon. Yeah. So I said that we're never ever gonna change the autocannon. The autocannon is a staple of what the support weapons of Helldivers is.
And if we ever do change it, know that both of us are probably dead.
Or kidnapped.
Yeah,
But we changed the autocannon.
we changed all the cannon.
And hear us out before you freak out.
It's one of my favorites.
This is a reintroduction of an unfinished system that we had in the game.
Yeah,
Or actually a finished system that we have in the game and that we never used.
works. Yeah, so there was we had a function for programmable ammo. So you could change how the projectile acts and just at the click of a button. So we introduced flak to the autocannon.
Cool. So the autocannon rounds can now have dual function. So you can tweak them from being as they were to that kind of flak. So what does the flak that round do?
A proximity round that has a big shrapnel explosion. It's very nice. Like shooting down flyers, streakers, gunships, all of that. Like against the bugs, like, here's a lot of stuff. You just like spray it with flak and everything dies. I don't know, for me it's just like I've been having so much fun with it.
Programmable ammo is something that we talked about so much when we were making this game. Of like, how cool would it not be to be able to swap the functionality of the weapon? And I mean, that's why it's called the weapon functionality. And allow you to tailor the experience. But it allows for depth for players to master the weapons that they are already familiar with. So all the pro autocannon players out there, you will now have another layer of depth associated with the autocannon. Recoilless rifle.
Yes.
Has also received programmable ammo.
Yeah, because wouldn't you want that thing that fires a really strong projectile to also blow up more stuff?
If I could, yes, please.
Yes, and now you can. You're welcome. So you can program it to, normally you have the high explosive anti-tank rounds, the heat. Exactly. Now you have the HE round, the high explosive round, which is just a bigger, super satisfying explosion. So you just like flip the button, no anti-tank, go big boom instead.
Oh, that's amazing. So both the autocannon and the recoilless rifle will, using the programmable ammo, have more versatility, allow for deeper engagement and deeper play, and also be a little bit more versatile in the roles.
Yeah.
One of the nicest changes here is to the stalwart, where its ergo has gone up.
Yeah, it had ergonomics that was like, it was a bit clunky to handle, a bit too much for a weapon of actually that size and agility. So just like, no, you take it to kill stuff like hunters, etc. But if you're too slow to turn, it's annoying.
Yeah.
So it has better ergonomics. But speaking of machine guns, and you know, when you get that feeling of like you're in a game, you're shooting stuff, and you just realize it's not enough DACA.
You're there, ready to reach the climax, and then it's just 25 rounds missing.
Yeah, it's like you run out of ammo and have to reload a little bit too fast. Yeah. You don't want to finish too fast.
No, and I know all about that.
Anyway, 25 more bullets.
Okay, so
to the normal machine gun, and 25 more bullets in each magazine of the heavy machine gun.
okay, so both the machine gun and the heavy machine gun has gotten an increase of 25 bullets more.
Yeah. So it's 175 normal machine gun and 100 for the heavy machine gun. The normal machine gun also get one more magazine at start when you drop it in, so you can shoot more.
So this should put the machine guns in that role of fire support, suppressive fire, and just laying down volumes of fire.
I just want my character to laugh more when I'm shooting.
Sound decision making.
That's how we do it.
Let's talk about backpacks.
Yeah. Let's talk about the jump pack first. For a while, the players got to enjoy the dark fluid pack.
Yeah.
And it jumped higher, better, more. Now, the jump pack, I think the values are basically the same. So you jump, your thrust force has increased, your vector, you go a little bit more forward. So you can use it more to dodge stuff and also to travel. and you can jump more often. We lowered it from 20 to 15 seconds.
Okay, so it means that if I want to be the recon guy that has the jump pack and the marksman rifle, I can just pounce ahead of the group, get into a good scouting position, and then lay down fire or report on what's going on. Drones.
Yes.
Some really cool updates to the drones. Yet an additional mechanical feature in the game. So, and I love new mechanics.
Yeah, we love new mechanics. We've added a couple. So there's a toggle function now. So with your backpack function, you can recall and like let out your drone. So if you want to sneak past something, I mean, how often didn't you want to sneak before and your drone just started blasting, right? And now you can recall it. You have that skill factor now. You can choose when to waste its ammo or when to sneak, and like you have tactical choices with your drone backpack.
Yeah. So previously I had the drone flying out and a charger appeared and it would waste all its ammo on the charger. Yeah. I can now just tell it to just sit the down.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about the guard dog, the regular guard dog.
The regular guard dog. That's just mostly outshined by its cooler cousin. So we just gave it basically a liberator penetrator instead. So it
previously had a liberator.
Yeah. So we gave it increased armor penetration and 50% bigger mag, and now it just shoots more, shoots better, and with the added functionality, it's just nice, and it has a lot of burst damage, and the AP actually it matters a lot because especially against bots because it tried to target the chest of a Devastator that has armor 3, and it would just waste all of its bullets normally.
Right.
Now it just kills it.
That's cool.
Surprisingly fast.
We saw that a lot of you use the shield generator backpack exclusively. It was overrepresented. So instead of doing anything to the shield generator backpack, we're trying to ensure that the jump pack, the guard dogs, the drone backpack, the support weapon backpacks, they get a little bit more powerful to even out the choice and make the choice more complicated. Okay, so let's just generally talk about all of the sentries.
So we reduced cooldown on most of them, not on the mortars, but everything else, I think. So autocannon, rocket, Gatling, and machine gun, we shaved off like a solid 30 seconds of the cooldown of all of them. And we gave them the machine gun and Gatling more ammo. And that together with the upgrade for 50% more ammo, they have a lot of ammo.
Let's quickly move over to the mines. So anti-tank mines, the biggest change that we've done to them is what they're triggered by.
Yes, what they're triggered by. They get very triggered by large things.
Yeah, but not small things.
No, they won't get triggered by Helldivers or smaller enemies. It will be Chargers, Bile Titans, Impalers, Hulks, tanks, because that makes sense. Oh, Factory Striders too.
Oh. One stratagem that I see the community taking once and then abandoning it. It's the Tesla Tower.
Yeah, but now it's full Chad.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah, I didn't think it would be, but I noticed that it was when I tested it. We just reduced the charge up cooldown between shots from like 3 seconds to 1 second. So it shoots a lot more. The cooldown also shaved off 30 seconds, like the other sentries. It's the biggest thing. Like I hardly can't play without this against the bots now because it is just so nice. It's the shield generator relay. It used to be this small bubble and it broke very easily. So we just increased the size many times. You can cover a decent area. You can cover like an extraction zone. That comes though with that eventually the enemies will actually pass into the bubble and then you're not as protected. But you have a big bubble and it like regenerates its health all the time. So you actually have to like overpower it. So you'll also notice like if it's stray shots here and there, the shield won't care. He will just like man up and take it. But you notice like, okay, now everything is like a whole army shooting at it. Eventually then it will break.
But really what happens is, then is if I get pushed out of the shield and it's a rather large area, the enemies enter it, I get pushed out of the shield. The
Now they have a shield.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. So let's get into more of the the gameplay and the enemies, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing that we need to talk about is patrols and how patrols now act.
So it used to be that when you did the mission, when there was mission complete, you can now go to extraction. Some players did the mission first, and then they went like, let's collect samples, let's do other optional objectives, etc. And what the game did was, oh, mission complete, let's just super jack up the amount of patrols. Like patrol spawning became very intense. So then you just had a continuous, long, like adrenaline intense experience that also kind of like it's tiring to do that for a long time. So, and you want your ups and downs in the gameplay. So what we did instead was that when mission is complete, you can go through extraction, and around the extraction, as you get closer to extraction, the enemy presence will go up. You will get more patrols, and you'll get an intense extraction experience that'll try and stop you from leaving. But if you don't go directly to the extraction, you will still have like our normal pacing of the mission, because that makes more sense. And I think a lot of players, like when we listen to what you guys are saying, as like depending on how you play, and maybe some of you haven't like really reacted to it, you just play and then you know it's like there's so many patrols and like it's so intense and it's like sometimes unrelenting. And we think that this have contributed a lot to that, because it's also like it's not a telegraphed mechanic, so not everyone knows that it exists, and now it will make more sense, and you'll get more freedom and player agency to play a bit more how you want to, which is important. Right, so Terminids.
Yeah. Not that many changes. They're pretty good as they are.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And like, what is the most annoying enemy of the Terminids?
Impaler.
Damn it. No, the Hunter.
My mistake.
Yeah. Its jump ability, when it pounces on you, you could have 10 of them doing it at the same time. So we did like a small area cooldown, so they can pounce now and then, so you usually get one after the other, but you don't get like everyone at the same time.
Right. You don't get that burst damage of 4 hunters hitting you at the same time in the head.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's dive into the automatons, the bots.
Yes.
So the targeting mechanic of the bots is, of course, one of the core components to how the bots are to fight. Like how good are they at aiming, how fast do they aim, how accurately do they shoot.
Yeah, and what do they see?
Yeah.
So we did a couple of things. We noticed there was inconsistencies. There's a lot of lines of script with this, and we noticed that some enemies actually didn't care about line of sight when they shot.
So in what situations would this have happened?
If you would pop down smoke, there was like a third of the enemies just like don't care. And this also happened with if they had a wall in front of them, they just don't care, shooting into the wall. And if they actually poke through the wall for some clipping reasons, they will also fire through the wall. Like how many people have gotten killed by a scout strider shooting through a rock? We have fixed a lot of the feels bad moments of bot targeting. When you get fired upon and then you run behind a rock or a wall, they will actually lose you as a target. Like all of them will. Previously it was like 2/3 of them did, but not all of them. And they kept firing, and then when you maybe ran out again, they would already have aimed. The aim like centered on you and just hit you instantly. Now they have to retarget you, and it takes for them a while to get like the rifle up, etc.
Talk about the Hulk Bruiser.
Yeah, let's Hulk out. So it got its rocket launcher back.
We basically moved back from the change that we did last time based on community feedback.
Yeah, keep the feedback coming. If you don't like that change either, like I guess we'll do another pass on it. Like we're okay with going a bit of back and forth as long as we get there in the end.
Yeah. A lot of the community have been talking about the Heavy Devastator and the fact that it's relentless in the way that it shoots at you.
Yeah. So we made it pause a little bit between each time it shoots. So before it was almost like a continuous, just like shooting. But we need to give the players a small window so they can pop up behind cover or like do something against them. So it gives you like a small window of opportunity.
Okay, let's talk about tanks and tank turrets.
We did increase the front armor of tanks last patch, and it got weird interactions with like a railgun that's then suddenly now started to bounce. So we reduced the front armor back to 5 like the rest of the tank. We also got to, and this is basically for all tanks, we missed a bit of things with how much health their weak spots had, like the backside of the turrets, etc. So we wanted it to still be roughly as it was before the last patch in terms of like how advantageous it is to the player to get up behind the tank. So we fixed that.
Somebody tweeted at me or something around the barrager, like they dropped a 500 kilo eagle bomb that hit the rocket ramp of the barrager and it didn't die, which seems strange to me.
Yeah, it's fixed. When it dies now, it fully dies. And you won't drop 500 kilos on it and it still kills you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in on this wonderful conversation between me and Niklas. It was a very in-depth, professionally executed conversation. We had a lot of fun. Hope you did as well. If you want to read more about the patch notes, you can find them on Steam and on PlayStation.com. And we'll see you on the battlefield.